solstice and an equinox. I don't know, because I feel like I've had these significant moments where I've been in different parts of the world and witnessed a sunset and although the other one wasn't an eclipse, was it? But I've definitely had this, and it's been, loop-de-loop, where we're at another solstice. So back in 2016, I was writing my book in Bali, and I remember on the summer solstice, there was I was on the east of the island, so I was doing my practice, watching the sunrise, and then the full moon was setting behind me, and it was just incredible. So that was in 2016, and it feels like a bit of a loop back from certainly the more potent last few years of transformation. Oh, hello, divine side, and peace in the house. That's E. Hala 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 hala. I do have my cards here. I don't feel that I'm going to be pulling any cards today, so I do often just want to shoot the shit, as it were. Certainly with regard to the collective energies, right? Hello everybody, welcome to Alt Love TV, where we noodle. I like to just open our minds to different topic points, especially when we're living in absolutely transformational, global transformation as well, which is a point in the title. I think it's in the title. Have I written global paradigm shift? It's written in the stars. And recently, our live share crew, Divine Sight and Andy, we discussed a new astrologer that was brought to my attention via Roots and Divine Sight, and it's this slightly broader perspective, which has actually brought a lot of affirmative clarity into my awareness, and a lot of it has to do with the fear mongering in our media structure on the planet, and ultimately what a lot of the fear mongering and even the astrological offerings with some astrologers that I do or have been following, as it were, listening to, feeling like I'm getting knowledge. And recently with Livette, so one of you reached out. I have shared Livette's the channel and at least the video that I've been watching, but watching this astrologer sort of changed the game. And today, after ingesting a lot of the Livette video, like as in watching it multiple times to absorb the layers of it, I went back to watching an astrologer whom I do watch, and it was a game changer. I'm not resonating with some of the stories, particularly around, okay, so the global paradigm shift, the world as we know it, is changing, and so much of the fear mongering is like war, and I'm not denying that there is escalating violence, and certainly the energetic lining up of a war, global war, and civil wars and unrest and all of that. And yet in deep within, and certainly many of us who have been spiritually guided by the paradigm shift, which ultimately means those of us who, with a heck of a lot of empathy and compassion, who are like, like the pain of the world and the oppression of our systematic indoctrination is so painful that it's like we can't deny it. So this whole spiritual awakening, or simply, rising yourself up, has to do with feeling the pain of your world and ultimately transforming that pain so that you can project your own choosing. You can project, i.e., my own perspective of a living world. So I have been just on this journey where I am being asked to feel all the emotions, the dense ones in particular: fear, shame, guilt, jealousy, and all that jazz, until it's just not appearing in my world anymore. And And those of you who have found me on the online vibrashe, a lot of you have been also on a spiritual journey and or resonate with the book. It's like only the self, like only we, the people of this planet, can actually liberate ourselves. And so we're in a bit of a conundrum where the stars are lining us up to ultimately live the projection of our dream, live the reality, the manifest reality of our dream. So in the astrology right now, it's ultimately for every single one of us individually, and then also on a collective level, it's like the ultimate conflict, i.e. war, that we're having to face down. We're having to face down, address, look at, own and transform our own projections. Thus, what we're observing is the collective unconscious, and like and all that's been denied, and all that's been repressed, and all that's been attempted to be hidden, i.e. The divisiveness of the media tactic game, the underlying just again things that have been in awareness for a lot of us anyway, the underlying oppression and how shit it is you know, to divide us up and to go and colonize other cultures and to debase people who live more in harmony with the world, and to ultimately, you know, disconnect us from our femininity, from our intuition, and our ability to love ourselves and look after these bodies, thus look after the planet. And it's just so like mentally like warping, as it were. And that's probably why more and more of us are like coming to share the journey with other lovers. It's because it's profound, and it's especially again with the media grabbing hold of whatever it is that they can, I suppose, to maintain their control. You know, they've even to a certain degree, people call it the false light, but they've really messed about with what certainly someone like myself perceives as this spiritual awakening. It's love and light, and oh, let's be spiritual together, you guys. Let's all be spiritual. I really increasingly am like, that doesn't look like anything at all. There's no structure. There's no rules. It's literally just like how do you feel? How do you relate to yourself? How do you feel in your heart? Like that's it. And it, fuck, man, like certainly my reality, the way we get deluded by the illusions. I'm a spiritual person because I burn incense. And here's what we would call like the spiritual ego, is that like increasingly, I guess, we live in our and I get it because I've been there. I was studying acting and pursuing an acting career, and in the false light program, suddenly there's Tara Stiles and Gabby Bernstein and women my age that were quote unquote celebrities in their spiritual communities. And I actually have met Tara and like mad respect, like absolutely there is a pioneer like Deepak Chopra or Abraham, and yet the media or our relationship to ourselves via the media can still delude us in chasing the dream. Oh, okay, if I just do like this, then I'll get that. And I'm increasingly aware, like, oh, god damn it, it just doesn't work like that. In as far as how we become our own self, how we really lean into and walk our truth, walk our purpose. As we continue to break through those veils, we can't be like other people, we can only be ourselves. So increasingly in these last few years, for me personally, what that looked like is I stopped reading other people's books. I stopped watching other people's content. I genuinely was like, huh? Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing this. Like, now I'm in Bali. Now I'm attracting people to help with investment. Now I'm losing all that investment. Now I'm making shitty financial choices. Now my mother's being deported and my car is being taken out. Like it was just this, and now I'm here, i.e. present. Bring presence to the fore. Bring my, and increasingly what I noticed was the dissolution of unconscious as I stepped more and more into my unconscious presence. More and more was owned and like thus transformed, And then even in the last 6 months, and they say this in the astrology, i.e. what I'm talking about here, it's written in the stars. So we are, as a collective, as one mind, undergoing our collective awakening. And so those of us who already have had an awareness of a global paradigm shift, it's already shifted. So what we're doing is essentially just trimming off and letting go of all of our past projections and all of our past pain in order to open our heart and step into the truth of our projections. And this is a 30 year cycle possibly. So like and that was from this Levette share, like whatever energies were harmonizing and or crystallizing, anchoring, projecting, whatever that is, that's the energies that we're going to be essentially establishing for these next 20 odd years. So feeling like we're getting a good handle of our emotional body and feeling that we're getting a better relationship with ourselves is all part of, like, that's where we want to be moving for the here now, i.e. what we feel, what we think, what we vibrate in the here now is the creation of our future. So if we've been doing a lot of inner work, which, let's be honest, these last few years, like, fuck, like, even, I've been sharing for quite some time now, and like now, gosh golly, it's almost 6 months, like January, Feb, I got a huge wake-up call around people pleasing, around denying the self, as much awareness as I might have thought I had, as much, yeah, I know how manifest, it all just like slapped me across the face, rammed me up the R hole, like it, all of my deepest, darkest fears essentially made manifest. Absolute financial collapse to the point of possible bankruptcy, disconnecting from all of my friends and people who support me, like literally running away, just being like, I do it by myself. Like drowning in a sea of darkness, playing pretend with somebody who really didn't give a shit about me but was using me, which was part of my own historical context of like, if I just give enough, maybe then people will fucking appreciate me, right? If I just basically give my whole self to other, then I will be accepted. Except no. And then this person turns around, evicts me, essentially frees me from that karmic bind in a review of what I can see for just another final lesson review of understanding manifestation, of understanding co-creation, and also understanding why people-pleasing sucks everybody's assholes, honestly. So get to know yourself. Get to know yourself so that you don't fall into those traps, ultimately, right? So yeah, these last few months has honestly like just been cleaning up and healing from the trauma of what happened in this last phase, and yet it's like, holla, are we good to go? Like, can we now just step into our soul tribes? Can we be joyful? And that's essentially what I've been experiencing, is like, okay, I release myself from my past and I give myself permission to step into what's here now. So what's here now is better friendships. What's here now are more abundant support systems. What's here now are people like you guys who be vibrating into resonance, hot love connection, and feel me on a very deep and profound level. And thus what I don't tolerate anymore is the other people who unconsciously attack me for my belief systems. People who, it's not about people being different. I'm meeting new people. I meet new people a lot. I'm a vegan. I promote unplugging from mainstream. I promote a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, certainly. I'm not it's not like all of my friends are vegans. It's not all of my friends don't watch TV, but it is funny when people are a little bit more in their head or more closed off, you could say, how threatened people have often felt throughout their lives. And it's taken me 38 years, almost 40 years of existence to work out what's going on. Why do I feel like such an alien? Why do I feel attacked? Because on a vibrational level, that's what happens. When somebody's ego is threatened, they unconsciously attack you. And that's ultimately why I've been guided to create All to Love. Every single of the online courses that I've created, of the Be the Change online courses, helping people go vegan, unplugging from mainstream, getting connected in spirituality simplified, and going zero waste, every single course in, I think it's week 7, so they're 8-week courses. Week 7 is all about dealing with resistance. and hala trust. I went veggie vegan in a small town in Canada 25 odd years ago, and I got a lot of shtick from people. And as a 12 or 13-year-old girl, I had to learn to just no. Like I'm doing this for myself. And I didn't care at that time. There weren't near the amount of awareness around it. There weren't near the amount of, you know, hard-hitting documentaries. I just, as 11 or 12 years old, from the life that I lived, I knew in my heart space, I was like, I can't kill those creatures. It's just not for me. And then I felt the people like, who do, you can't, you need this, you need that. And personally, I've never gone back because my body's always felt better. My mind has always felt clearer. And as a vegan, increasingly, gosh, I had some vegan cake yesterday before going for a beautiful coastal walk. And it's so funny because, so I don't know if you guys know, so I did a bit of a mushroom ceremony, I did a deep dive mushroom ceremony at Gemini new moon in May. And then I went into this whole, and again, all of it was this deep restorative healing from the last like year and a bit, and just what hella life. Yeah. So I'm guided. I ended up having probably about a week of like, basically just having smoothies, and really a detox, what people would perceive as a detox, which in fairness I've not done for years and years and years, maybe even since my kind of like yoga training vibrashe in India. But I do natural intermittent fasting. I never did it for that purpose, but I just, in my intuitive eating vibrashe, I just, yeah. Anywho, so in this last month, just by my own intuitive guidance, I guess I haven't even realized it, but I've not really been eating much processed food at all. Like it's salads and as much of the seasonal veg, and yeah, just, chips and maybe a little bit of chocolate, but I haven't had that. Anywho, blah. The point is that really truly kind of like as we continue to clean ourselves up, the more the other is like, ooh. So yesterday I had this vegan lemon, almost like panna cotta, I don't know what they're called, but it tasted nice in my mouth, but my belly, and this is a vegan cupcake, which is technically kind of, I guess, clean, but I've been not eating any processed food, not really having any of the sucrose, vibrashe, and probably, I don't know what it was, but I sussed it out as the day, because like I'm walking feeling quite good, and then like my and I'm like, oh, I think it might have been that cake, because I haven't been eating that kind of food. And then after a whole month of essentially just fruits and veg and like nuts, you feel it, right? And thus, in my awareness, I guess what may be the point I'm trying to make, but who bloody knows, because it just don't flow. It's like the same with everything. So, okay, I stopped increasingly putting stuff that doesn't resonate with me. It's not a judgment, it's just what resonates, what doesn't. Increasingly, the more clear I become with my relationship to self, the better and more clear are my choices. And thus, the biofeedback of choices from my past, even usually out of some nervousness, out of some social anxiety. I'm like, I'll just stuff my face with vegan cake because I'm uncomfortable, because I'm a bit nervous, right? Well, okay, fair enough. And that's just, it's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just noticing my own patterns and being able to, on a continual level, be able to discern, is that a real conscious choice, or is that just me having a bit of a wobble, right? And so it's like, by the way, I'm noticing that you guys are talking amongst yourselves, and I really, really appreciate that. I also want to thank you guys for your some of you guys have been booking your readings and sending me little updates. I effing love that, because it's really helping me trust more and more the intuitive readings with the cards, because I just continue to be quite astounded by people's feedback, because mostly like when I teach yoga, it's the same, but like I don't even know what I'm saying. It's just like pure flow. And then when I get a message of like, oh my god, it's like you were having a mirror view of my life, and I'm like, oh my god, cool. Like I still almost am just like, that is badass, because it's just cards and intuition, pure trusting flow. It's divine, ultimately divine side. um oh yes, so really the point of this share that has gone way off on many different tangents, which is normally what happens because here um global paradigm shift written in the stars, right? So the whole being it written in the stars, it's like this deep knowing for a lot of us that might resonate with aspects of starseed, light workers, blah 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 blah, is that deep down within me, that's this insight of the paradigm shift that has always kept me going, and my own weird journey of just like downloading wisdom to then later find out that was actual fucking divine wisdom. I'm like, holy Shazam, but I'm just a small town Canadian girl. uh, from deep within the vessel, it's like my own awareness was like, no, it's happening. There's like, the light has won, the divine is here, and no matter what nobody says, I know the truth within. And so any of the astrological descriptions which are essentially leading us to a war is not true in within. So the point is like this Levette person that I saw, it was like, it's to do with the astrology. It's to do with what's written in the stars, my lovers. Hence, star seeds, or like light worker, those of us who've sort of activated our kind of broader galactic essential self, i.e. we've integrated and or transformed enough of the 3D paradigm construct, the lower base tone DNA structure from within the self, and we've evolved to integrate more of our multidimensionality, which is shifting us into this fifth dimensional frequency, which is actually part of the Earth's wave function of Earth herself moving into greater and higher harmonic. And it's more to do with, again, how she's lining up in the stars. So we're at a point in our historical framework, but certainly with Earth's trajectory in this universe, where she's coming to her 0 point. She's returning to her golden age. It's written in the stars. So no matter how much attempts, or even whomever is telling you like, a great war is coming, civil unrest, okay, yes, there's going to be continuing like awakening. People are going to feel all the feels as they continue to awaken to their power, right? And so yes, we will continue to see the unrest, but is that any different? No. That's always been the case if you're obsessed with watching the mainstream media agenda. That fucking program has always been telling you it's war, 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 shop, 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 shitty, 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 blue, blee, blah. That's always what it's been. It's, in my awareness, certainly, like the media representation of our collective awareness is no different than it was when I was a kid. Part of the reason I encourage people to stop watching it, I'm like, it's the fucking same story over and over again. People, just stop watching it and create your life. And heal from the web of distortion that we sell out to. Still unconscious though, so bear in mind that's part of like, those of us that are possibly just a bit more anchored in doing the divine ethereal work. It's that when I say people sell out, I'm very aware that this is a pretty covert and deceptive. It's like the terms and condition. People's, yeah, okay, you sold out, but the layers and the veiling and the small print of what goes on behind the veil is a bullshit tactic of that control energy. So those of us in our kind of divinity are like, okay, people wrote the contracts. Your contracts are null and void. Because you're not giving people a chance, right? Hence why an oppressive system needs to be just let's just ignore it and let it fall and crumble, because it sucks ours. because it only serves a few people who are like, hoo-hoo, look at these innocent people, let's try to control them. And we're like, okay, yeah. We're all well-intentioned, it's just that we're under a heavy-duty veil, and not watching TV and you know, consciously choosing foods and people and stuff that makes us feel good is like, power to the people. Hi Kurt, I did see you there. How are you? Nice to see everybody. Yes, thank you. Brilliant. I figured it was wrong. I need bleepers. Got you. Great that way. Love eating flesh free. I need to stop being in a weird mood. Aren't we all? Continuous. And that is something as I eat chocolate chips from the bag. Holla! I'm a vegan. I have no vegan friends. Hey, Megan, a shameless self-promotion right here. Feel free to share all to vegan love. Tell them that it helped you. In fairness, we've got a couple of people from the live share crew have been sitting the vegan love course, and it is helping them. If I can toot my own trumpet. Oh Lord. I know, and it's classic because I've met somebody who's still in the meat train vibrashe, and it's that classic thing. I'm like, oh, it's just so funny how even the rebuttal. Okay, so if somebody is trying to get into a debate, which I wouldn't recommend if I'm honest, I'm pretty good with all this debate stuff. Plus, I'm not in a heart sense. I'm not attached to making a point. I'm not attached to being right. So increasingly, when an slightly unconscious meat eater comes at me with like the word protein, or like you still have to clear cut forest to grow soya and all of that, I am just like, do you really want to go there? Like, I'm not trying to change you, but and ultimately as well, most of the time this is coming from people who have not educated themselves. They're not aware. They haven't watched the killings. Right? They haven't ultimately faced it in their heart, and that has a lot to do with, again, our collective awakening. It's difficult. Ascension, spiritual awakening, owning your fucking shit. It's painful in your heart, because this whole denial stuff and this whole age of oppression, or this systematic oppression, isn't something that just happened in our generation. It's generationally imprinted in our beingness. So there's a depth here of healing guilt and punishment wounding from 2,000 years ago, when the church was like, holla, we're gonna control everybody. we're gonna clean the land. We're gonna tell people that the only way to connect to God is through us, and then we're gonna tax the shit out of them so they can never get free. We're gonna make them believe that God is outside of self. There again, on some level, we all agreed, but let's dissolve those contracts now. That's inherently what we're doing as a soul, as a one mind Christ consciousness on this planet, in the body of Christ, right? We live here, we're aligning with that body of Christ, and so we become free. Because those contracts aren't in alignment with the divinity of a unity soul self, right? We live in a free will universe, so you can't do that to other people ultimately. Maybe for a period of time, when the earth is in this very, very dark web of universal co-creation. But as she comes into the light and you start to see more of the deeper truths, it's like, like, that's not on. You can't take innocence and then delude them into selling their soul. Fuck you, get off. You know, that's the inherent power of truth. From within the self, you know your integrity. You can feel what's right and wrong, and more of us are awakening through our own shitty behavior, which is painful to self and of course to other. That's why, as we continue our own awakening, we have to continue to permission ourselves to walk away from that which hurts our soul and hurts our heart and degrades the truth of what we know, that we are all free and we all deserve to be here, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And anybody corrupting and deluding and stealing and raping, it's time to shine light on that awareness and either let people hear or let them go. i.e. let them heal, or let them go. Let them go. They can go find another planet to rape and pillage if that's what they want to do, but not here. Not no more. Now that the warrior people are here. Or, sorry, rather, the rainbow warriors are here. You guys know this is the roots, and I just had the most divine download from the warrior stuff, or rather the rainbow stuff. I keep saying, but it's rainbow warriors, is that right? And I'm doing a collaboration with a girl here who's part of this tribe, but she's, you know, not always on these live shares. But we're doing it. It's now developing into this amazing. Like, I'm so stoked about it, and I'm aware like I need it, and I'm already like, for me, stuff is already coming up, like playing dress up. I just like I'm not really like a fancy dress kind of adult, and it triggers me. It makes me feel uncomfortable because I have to like, yeah, show up in a different way. Have I ever told you you're like the 60s reincarnate? I love that. So you know, like the big protests from the 60s with like the Janis Joplins and the, I don't know who else. Help me out here, people. More musically inclined. I want to say maybe like Jimi Hendrix and just radical, like, I feel like making love. I feel that. I vision that. I vision like rallying people and with the heart love, pure, you know, the heart love, Jane Fonda, and who else? I don't know, you know. Yes, Kurt, I feel you, and I feel that, and I will continue to represent the 60s heart lovers of the so-called hippie vibrashe, but we're also radical fucking pioneers for the here and now. Age of Aquarius, which is, again, from the Levette, the age of knowing. It's not, you know, as much as I'm not attached to the words that I speak, I'm not speaking from a place of like, although there is a little bit of just like tweaking little nuggets. How classic is that? Tweaking nuggets out of my arsehole. But also, I also feel like that's the point. It's like people over the years who have come to my yoga classes and they laugh and they have a good time and they're like, wow, thank you. You made it fun. I'm like, well, fuck, what's the point of doing all this spiritual work if it's not fun? If it just means that I'm gonna sit here in all of my seriousness for the rest of my life until I have no desire. But that's a fucking desire, isn't it? To be desireless. So maybe we should just get over ourselves, feel good in these bodies, and have a party. Let's party. Or let's meditate. You just have to meditate until it's something, until yourself becomes fun. Which is, you know, problematic when you're constantly coming up against different barriers of false programming and ancestral rooting, which is deep. It's deep. And even when you think you're in the clear, it will surprise you that you're not. And that is something that recently hit me. Like, I'm fucking flying high, coming back from Portugal, and I'm, you know, I'm not grounded. I'm not centered, and I literally, when I arrived, it took about 2 weeks, and I felt like I was wading through a shit ton of bricks. Trying to be nice. Trying to be a good person. Trying to help somebody else in their life and their fucking problems and support them emotionally and make sure they're getting their money in and all this shit. And letting myself drown and fall back into old patterns of wanting to fucking kill myself. And then disconnecting from all the people that have showed up to genuinely help. Because also when you're a bit of a renegade, you don't want to take people down with you. You know, you don't want to take people down with you, so you disconnect. And for a lot of us, that's the wounding. We did get taken out. We have memories of it. You know, me too. I'm glad I'm still alive as well. La la. I know I wouldn't have, but like it was like me, because I was still sharing, but it was like being in the present moment, being like, oh my god, I feel like I'm in the worst blah blah whatever. But I'm like, I know I gotta see this through. And that was the whole shabambles of me going to Portugal, just knowing that I had to get free from my Bristol shits, and then Bristol freed me. I got evicted. The person just kicked me out of their life, which felt a bit like I was sick. I was vomiting for 24 hours to process the fact that I had nowhere to go. I had no money, right? And I'm like, I'm homeless and I've been evicted, and it's all fucked up. And then, but I felt so relieved. And pretty much since then, I've been rebuilding from the new energetic standpoint and the new perspective with new friends and new soul familia. And that's part of why this is so integral. Our Bristol shit sound pretty painful. It was so intense, dude. And yet familiar. Because this was a familiar pattern. This person was familiar to me. It's just that as much as it was familiar, it's not the direction that I'm truly headed in. It's my past. It's where I've been. And actually, there has been valuable learning within the experience. Certainly somebody who shares the experience to endeavor to inspire, teach, share, unify with more people on this quantum leap journey. It's like, holla, yo, you are... we are here to really be in our unity space so that we can manifest for the whole. We're not here to make people's privileged lives more privileged for them. That's not fucking my function. And yet that's part of what I've been playing, because I've been so working out those unworthy wounds that my own unconscious constantly thought, like, if I could just please these people enough, then I'll be okay. If I could just make their life perfect, then I'll be supported as well. Then they'll want to support me. Then they'll want to look after me. Except that never fucking happened. The people that I thought, at least, I was trying most to serve were some of the shadowiest, and veils to lift. Which is my own creation. Again, this is part of deeper knowing and understanding non-judgment and unconditional love. You feel me? Everything I'm talking about has nothing to do with other. They're other. They're on their own divine journey as a divine soul. Holla holla. Mad represent. Thank you for the learning. But what I went through was my own fucking darkness. Right? Was my own shadow self that I was trying to run away from. Fuck. You can't run away from yourself. So your ego is just going to continuously get washed clean. You're going to have multiple ego deaths, possibly throughout your life. Who cares? Because we all is going to vacate these bodies eventually, so we might as well detach the egoic constructs that don't even serve the vessel. Anyway, everything that we're told to buy and told to consume and told to buy into is not good for any of us on any level. The food that we're told to buy into, the clothes that we're told to wear. That's another thing that I can share that Livette video, but bearing in mind, we propagate the oppressive system by the fucking brands that we buy into. Holla, buy my brand because I in alignment with the new world. I want to say new earth paradigm, because I'm very aware of certain languages being usurped by people who are wanting to still control other people. So it's like, the New World Order, I'm not using that expression, if you feel me. I'm like, no, you don't have control over the ordering. We do. Holla. Heart space. Only buy MG merch. Exactly. Ow, to love. But how beautiful. Like, everybody's just wearing... Oopsie daisy. Everyone's just wearing their heart, love, rainbow, warrior, just represent. And I do believe now I've added Maz's email description. It's in amongst me own. So all down below in the description of these videos, you guys can find ways to buy my stuff and my book and whatever else I sell, the online courses and packages, coaching packages. I'm stoked. Thank you guys so much. I know that there's been a few of you inquiring for the month intensive packages, which I'm really, really stoked about. And some of you have reached out. Again, I really appreciate it because of the way that I work, as in new paradigm vibrashe. Jubinga! Around my new paradigm vibrashe is that, like, it's people. We're not talking to a corporation, right? Which most of us, anyway. When it's human to human, we can always have a chat. Because some of you reached out about the whole year online coaching packages. One, I only have a 1 year and then 2 monthly intensives. But the year package, a couple of you reached out and just were like, you know, can I pay in installments or can I negotiate? And I'm like, that's cool. I'm really open to that. I think the year thing is pretty set. Like, because I think about the work I've done with people over the year, and I don't reckon I can really bring that price any lower. But either way, I appreciate my lovers just, you know, reaching out and starting to, like, noodle with doing a little bit more intensive work. Basically having somebody who's like saying, come on, keep going, keep anchoring in the personal love rituals, keep doing our, especially if we're in different environments and cities. Some of my private working clients are in cities, and it's absolutely, yeah, I can almost feel the effect of city vibration. And after, especially with these restrictions, people are just like coming to the end of their tether with being told to stay inside or being told they can't travel. And there's a whole bunch of cray bullshit going on with our the travel companies, the airlines, and all this kind of stuff. But there again, no war. We're not headed for war. We're headed for an evolution of our species. But, you know, it's like the darkest before the dawn. As we are evolving, all of the scum, as it were, is coming to the surface. I think that's a Livette thing. The scum is coming to the surface, just like I explain in the book. Everything that comes out of us, every sickness, every malaise, every dis-ease is an aspect, pardon me, of our own conscious rising to purge. Certainly if we're, pardon me, owning and transforming every aspect, right? So yeah, it's darkest before it's dawning, and we are in the dawning of the golden age. We're moving age. What did we talk about, Divine Sight? So age of Aquarius is the age of knowing. We'll come into sovereignty via the unity and understanding of, oh my god, I had this wicked fucking insight that made me laugh before I went to bed. Like, proper laughing at my own thought stream of, like, we're like, see, and I remember thinking to myself, I should fucking voice record, and I was like, no, I'll remember it, and I repeated it to myself a few times, but it was something like, we're all just aspects of stardust riding a cosmic wave of rainbow love, something like straight into a new world, or something like that, and damned if I could remember, but it was fucking hilarious in the moment. Like, just riding the rainbow wave of love into the new world, heaven on earth. So the rainbow bridge construction is now happening, as in we're all living on the edge of the rainbow, building it, right, pioneering it. So this age of knowing is our essential self, the integration of our star codes, right? So we have become these broader beings, and ultimately, for whatever reason, we're all telling the story of how we're going to lead humanity to the golden age of heaven on earth, which is the following. We're moving through the procession of the procession of the zodiac to up level the entire octave of Earth planet. So it's like moving into that higher octave. We're just closing off a cycle, and a long-winded cycle at that, right? So the next few thousand years, or maybe a few hundred, or yeah, a couple thousand, that's kind of what they say, but it doesn't matter because time doesn't really exist. It ultimately is a procession of ages for our own collective learning as souls, as a one soul, right? So we come into the unity, the sovereignty via the unity understanding of that higher cosmic grid. That is our transition here now in the age of Aquarius that we've been moving through for a while now. And then we have the age of Capricorn. So the age of Capricorn is when humanity is actually living in the golden age. We're living in heaven on earth, because the Capricornian higher level, of course, is the construction, is the manifest world. It's the cardinal earth sign, right? So the cardinal earth sign is the manifest start of the golden age, the new age, as it were, which those of us here, we just know it's what's the thing that Kurt talks about? It's the resource-based economy. It's compassionate leadership. It's dissolution and or reformation of shitty industries which enslave any sentience, any innocence, right? And there again was my little hot debate with a new friend who does eat meat, and talking about the enslavement and the destruction and how not cool that is. And it's like, well, you know, they have to do the same, blah blah. It's like, no, you're not even gonna go there. You know, we can deny, and we can try to pretend like that shit's not going on, but that's just not the way anymore. It's we are an accountable and responsible humanity in unity with the planet, right? And so that is simply written in the stars. I know our little human mind can try to delude ourselves out of it or rationalize, which again, most of us here to tell the tale would say, don't mentally rationalize your out of your deep inner knowing, because your deeper inner knowing is the truth. Your mind is just a bunch of mind fuckery programming from age old people that were like, I will control. You're like, okay. And then look at us now. We fucked it. So to love. Resource-based economy, that's right. I encourage everyone to buy your... Hey, holla holla, thanks that way. That's really kind of you. Long-winded cycle. A rainbow breeze, isn't it true? Activating our rainbow light bodies. Thanks, that's a nice piece. And yes, indeed, that is happening. I'm gonna read Kurt's thing, which Andy P's agreed. Hey Mary! Mary's in the house! Mary Nugent! Interesting. Share if you want to. We can, because we can noodle with that in the live share if you want, my friend. Button or the level of the trigger, yeah. Okay, Kurt, headed for breakthrough, as in on the collective. I feel like we're on a path of breakthrough. Indeed. Well, I would agree, Kurt, certainly on the energetic level, that we have already broken down. It's like me sharing about this last cycle. That was the final breakdown. It's the final breakdown. We can't go there, because certainly in my own awareness, it was like, there's nothing else. That was it. I just faced all of my deepest, darkest fears and my worst fears and my deepest, darkest shadows and my ugliest shames and all of it. That's what I was doing in Bristol. And I still committed. I still kept showing up. I still was like, I'm gonna believe in my freedom and my love, despite the circumstances. Sifting fucking illusions is weird. Because it doesn't matter how good it looks, right? So we've already broken it down. So indeed, those of us in alignment with this community, or any conscious creatorship communities, indeed, thank you, Divine Sight. So those of us sharing this soul familia oversoul grid, them in deep resonance, so a lot of us will have had that. We will have final reviews. Divine Sight had to shut her studio, which was also part of this, you know, I'm guided to this, I'm da-da-da-da. And then, so many of us, for whatever reason, we, in this last building up to these conjunctions, right, these monumental life and death, birth and, or death and resurrection, death and rebirth, those kind of deeply transformational energies have been and done at the same time as Portugal. Well, it was like moving up to a head, right? And then deepest dive into all of our shadow shit, and now we're coming out the other side of it, and we've had to release a lot. I had to release the stuff I thought I wanted when I was in Bristol even, and completely, ultimately let go of all of it, right? All of it got released. I tried to, you know, in a rational sense, I tried to help. I tried to do what I thought was right, but karma's karmas, you know, and that's something I share with clients. Even a recent healing where it was some childhood shit, and then I just it's like what was the expression I used? Something like denial's a bitch, or self-denial's a bitch. Like karma, when karma's doing its work on you, when you're healing, ultimately when you're healing painful distortion, it's your own self-denial, which is so brutal. I just, sometimes it's easier just to blame my parents, you know, instead of having to really feel the fucking distortion of my own truth when I denied myself, when I put parts of myself. And yet the truth of divinity is that the angelic energy or the benevolent energy around you is always there to be like, it's fine, you don't need to beat yourself up. You know, forgiveness is truly graceful, and it is total. Except when we think that we have to gain forgiveness from other or from Jesus Christ. There's no sense, there's no externalization of this stuff. It's all to do with how you're relating to your own heart. That is it, that is all. And all these loops and all these painful experiences is just yet again opportunity for us to heal, which is us owning and transforming the world that we see, especially the stuff that's painful, divisive, suffering, all of that and all that jazz, you know. Hey John Beanie, how are you? Do you guys remember Tigger from you know, Tigger from Winnie the Pooh? Oh yeah. Woo! He does that little thing, right? Own and transform. Holla. Thank you, Kurt. That's the language from Capricorn and Aquarius are taking it back. Holla. That's right. E, my friend. E, where are you in the world? I'm just curious. Yeah, so we've had a lot to let go. I feel we broke down in 2016. I'm going back to Kurt's stuff. I feel we broke down in 2016. The breakdown was definitely well and truly underway. I mean, and here's the thing, we all have a different maybe perspective of certain timelines, except now really it's all breaking down. Like there's no so because because as individuated aspects, we all have our very unique star codes. So we have different trigger points that are lined up in the stars, right? And yet those of us in soul familia tribes will get a resonant connection with these timelines. So yeah. And yet as I read that comment, Kurt, I'm well aware that, well, it's been breaking down the whole time and it's been rebuilding the whole time because we're infinite, right? We have an eternal capacity to contain the entirety of the illusion, thus that we've projected. So there's no separation in as far as like what we're clearing and healing. It's only ever here now that we're in the present moment of the creatorship vortex, right? So the continual meeting point of the here now presence that we continue to say, now we're in the new reality. Now we're living a new paradigm. This is how it works. This is how it feels. We live in a resource-based economy. We all have more than enough. Our governments support us and uphold our well-being. Blah, blah, blah. That is the here now creation that we are creating. Thus, we should all be expecting to live in that world. I just looked down at and melted cheese. I'm like, and why not? I see. Indeedly doodly. My breakdown, I mean, total. Indeed, this is happening. Or where I would go, just from my perspective, is that the energies. Hey, Beanie. Yeah, so E, I'm curious where you are in the world. So, hey Mark, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Own and transform. By breakdown, I mean total collapse. Yes. So on the energetics as well, the collapse has already happened. And yet in a manifest reality, that's why we're seeing all that we're seeing, because it's the unconscious manifestation, right? So collectively everybody's facing, holy shit, we're super divided still. Holy shit, we're still blaming and attacking everybody. Oh my fuck load. People, media and people in power, there's puppetry going on, and smoke and mirrors, and there's deception. So more and more people are just awakening to that, right? So there again, in our communities, with just a little bit maybe more love harnessed in our heart space via compassion and empathy, all we can ultimately do is stoke vision, heaven on earth, from here, follow the feel good flow, and trust, without Rousseau's ego, which some of our old blah blah anyway. So that's it. And we'll just keep visioning our ability. And a lot of us have this. That's where we've been guided. We've been healing or holding space for people's healing for 10 or 20 years. So it's not like it's new. It's just taking us to a higher vibrational octave, where as the second wave of this awakening shift, it's our we just anchoring more love. We're vibrating a bit higher. We're holding space in greater love and harmony and ecstasy and bliss. And we've always needed each other to do that. That's why we congregate in these spaces, right? That's how and why we find one another. Breakthrough is constructive. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. Well, and there's the biofeedback curve with our continuing sharing of these spiritual energies, is that part of our leap and or quantum elevation is an integrative understanding of duality. Thus, what we know to be true is that a breakdown always leads to a breakthrough. Thus, if we have witnessed the breaking down of an oppressive control and domination system, then we're breaking through. Because we've already been through the breakdown. We've already been through fuck, that sucks. So now what? Okay, so there's a container. So now, as a whole, as a species, in a higher level, we are able to hold space for the dualistic container. But we're no longer invested in duality. I'm not concerned about rights and wrongs anymore. I'm concerned about how does it feel in my heart. That's it. That's all. It's like in my book, I talk about stop listening with your ears and start feeling with the entirety of your space. Because people lie. They don't even mean to necessarily, right? But they're trying to protect themselves. So, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel you. And that's why I love this community, is that we're just having open dialogue. And everybody gets to win. Yeah. Look, Kurt just said, everybody gets to win. And that's my vibrashe. That's what I want. Hence why, like, non-judgment goes a long way. Unconditional love and acceptance for the self goes a long way. Because I know the truth that I'm the only one that can do that for myself. So, we might as well. And thus I can love and accept other people. And what's beautiful is the more in authenticity I share, the more I resonate with the people that are coming into my reality in our differences. Like, that's part of the juice, that we can all be different. We can have different thoughts about things. You guys can feel completely different about certain topics, and that's cool. We can still hang out. We can still party. We can still be fresh together. I don't want to change people. I don't want to change people's minds. I just want to be able to be who I am. Which I'm pretty sure that's what everybody wants and deserves anyway. So, holla! Ain't no holla back, girl. Ain't no holla back, girl. You gotta work. Let me just play a song for my lovers, because I don't care about... I'm so happy, and that's okay. So are you. Do you guys ever feel bad for sending emails that are bitchy and then you apologize? I totally sent an email being like, listen, you didn't tell me about blah blah, and then I looked back through the email and they did, and I was like, oops, sorry. I'm still making amends for things. Okay, so I'm actually gonna get a song, and then that's gonna close me down for today. trying to think. Oh, 6:30. I'm like, don't worry, MJ. You haven't got a fucking session for another 3 hours. But this is the stuff that I'm working on with. Oh, look, I have a message from Divine Side. I've met actually somebody setting up a vegan business, and they've sent me pictures of their food, and I'm like, can I eat it all? And they're like, maybe on the next sunny day. I'm like, bring me the food. Where am I going? Oh, here. My lovers. Oh my god. This is for everybody. My lovers, I've pulled a card or cards. I'm gonna quickly do a collective reading for us. Thank you for your love, patience, and just for being here. You guys know how much I love you. We have 6 of Pentacles scales. The reason I want to share is that I just felt like pulling cards during the song, and the cards are very powerful. So we have a 9 of Pentacle and a Queen of Earth. We have a Queen of Pentacle, which makes me feel, and there's this playfulness energy, and coming out of Hanged Man with the 6 of Pentacle. So I feel like some of us are really possibly coming into greater harmony with financial abundance and material wealth. There's a sense of flowering our consciousness and getting into a higher vibration when it comes to our ability to play, have fun, live well. That is ultimately what's bringing us out of this collective lockdown energy, this restricted energy, i.e. representative of the Hanged Man. But you're coming into your own, right? You're really manifesting. Ultimately, the 6 of Pentacles is saying as well, now in your full power, you're bringing in much more aligned relationships, people who give in, relationships that like give and take and share. This is the birthing, ultimately the stepping into your power. And this is really with that Cancer energy, right? This is after all the hot love, all the deep healing, all the truth of your knowing, all the grace of your own benevolence, right? This is the manifestation of that. So welcome it. Play, keep playing, keep flowing in that trusting vibe, and know that everything you've asked for ultimately is coming in. Hanged Man, we're coming out of that energy now. So it's very, very powerful. The frequency shift card has come up. I think I intuited it last time. This time it's come up again. I think maybe it came up for the crew, and I couldn't be sure. So let me just read frequency shift for us. So You are about to experience a shift in your frequency, and this card comes to help you prepare for the upcoming event. Have I read this? Being ready and knowing what to expect can help you get through the transitional period. It did come up, right? And I'm not sure that I read it. I think I just like intuited. A frequency shift occurs when the soul is ready for the next part of its journey. We all know this, right? Like that we're now all stepping into this new story, as it were. However, this does not mean that our human consciousness is necessarily ready, right? The things that alter during this period can be difficult to endure, but you will make it through and be much better for it. This makes me think that there is likely maybe still things that we're shedding and letting go of, but I think most of us are pretty used to letting go, so that's okay. Most often when this shift begins, we will experience depression or a feeling of needing to withdraw from the world. Usually there are events that take place just before this shift. Remember what I was talking about? You know, the Bristol energy, like for a lot of us, divine sight, letting go of the actual physical center. I certainly, when I was living in Bristol, I was super duper depressed mode, man. So like, yeah, so when this shift is happening, we will experience depression or a feeling of needing to withdraw from the world. Usually there are events that take place just before this shift which cause a need to step back from the world. It is during this specific part of the transition that it feels difficult to relate to other people. It's like alienation and spiritual aloneness, right? Right, Bristol shits. During this shift, that makes it difficult. We talk about that, like spiritual awakening and loneliness is existential crises sort of stuff, isn't it? Ah, Lorna! So your path and purpose may feel as though they have vanished. I mean, let's be honest, that's so much the energies, right? Even those of us with lots of emotional awareness and intuition and stuff, holla, it's still the whole fucking paradigm, the whole collective energy is saying, let go. You're not in control. What? Yeah, we're transforming a control and domination system, so for our little mind to think we're in control is an absolute non-existent, it won't work. Like, let's transform this paradigm to control. It's like, no, the control's being washed out. It's being cleansed, hence spiritual awakening. I go down to the river and pray. I have to let go and surrender to my faith. I know, it's brutal, but holla. Yeah, hatred is for sure an aspect of protection. It protects us from our wounds, right? If we can just, it's like hate blaming. To me, this idea of blaming and attacking comes from self-hatred. It comes from not knowing that you are that. It's like the Aquarian Age Sutras from Yogi Bhajan. Recognize the other as you. That's, you know, when we treat other people like shit, we're not in unity. We're defending ourselves from ourselves. You know, which is, that's where karma comes in, is that the truth is we will act out something until our karma is clear. And then we become free from it. And yet the soul knows, like, it's like if I'd stayed attached to the stuff that I was creating in Bristol, then I wouldn't be free right now. And my lower mind could certainly have remained attached and tried to fight or tried to blah blah whatever, but my deeper truth knows this is all an illusion. Energetically this feels like fucking prison, so I'm gonna bounce and I'm just gonna let go of everything that I've already blah blah, right? Because mentally I don't want to remain attached to an illusion, especially when it feels like shit. Especially if it feels like death in prison, right? I don't want to be a slave to nobody, you know? So, holla, freedom. Anyway, okay, so your path and purpose may feel as though they've vanished. Holla, we all be in this energy a little bit right now. Like, what the hell's going on? What do you want from me? Nothing. Just chill out and plant a garden, or just go down to the river and pray. Something like that. Okay, you are left questioning everything you have done and worked toward up to this point in your life. The intuitive faculties will also take a hit. Interesting. It may seem that your connection with spirit has been completely severed. The guidance you once received will be silent. Interesting. Yeah, I think I've had that experience before. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but basically everything will get shut down. How relevant is this to the collective energies? Everything has been shut down. This basically happens because your energetic engine is completely in overhaul, or sorry, rather is getting a complete overhaul, and it cannot be left running while it happens, right? Hence those of us sharing, like, make sure you rest, make sure you're taking self-care, make sure you're going down to the river and pray. Oh, I mean, let's go down. I want to learn that song and sing it for my lovers. Okay, basically everything will get shut down. This happens because your energetic engine is getting a complete overhaul, and it cannot be left running while it happens. But just note that once complete, your connection will be stronger than ever. That is true. Like, I speak for myself, but like, that's definitely true. So those deeper dives, once you've reached higher heights, and then you have to go deeper to clean out the very bottom of your shitty river, then it will come up to the surface, and then you can wipe it off, and then you have a pristine, clean, glorious river, i.e. mind, to play with, thus project awesomeness into your future, right? Down to more than likely. Oh, and like, oh my god, this is so true. More than likely, you will also have a new team of guides, that's true, working with you. This is so you can bring through these higher energies in whatever work you do. You'll be focused on your purpose and doing the work of spirit more than ever. That's totally legit. This is like the whole world, what the whole entire planet is being asked. Like, let go of what you think and surrender everything, lose everything, and then live from your heart and work with the energies that appear from there. Like, and I can totally testify, straight up, you'll get to the other side. You suddenly feel like home. That's just the difference. Now I have friends and people in my life that make me feel at home, which I'm pretty sure that's basically what we all want. We just all want to be free to, like, enjoy nature and look after ourselves and one another. And God, it's so effing simple that sometimes when you even try to think about the other way, I'm like, it's so distorted, you know? But hey, we can pray. Pray for everybody to be free. Everybody gets to be free, right? It was, Mary. I know me and Divine Sight have had that chat of like how miraculous is the intuition. As in, because she had to make the call, right? Divine Sight had to make that intuitive call, which, again, any of us know if we're in business for ourselves or have put a lot of work into something, it's difficult. You've dedicated years of your life building something, creating something, and then suddenly having to go, right, okay, so now Spirit is asking me just to let it all go. And exactly, it was divine timing. The intuition knew and was like, it's time to close these doors. And I mean, so many people, right, are gonna also be facing these sorts of energies. Anywho, we will continue to observe our breakthrough. Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate all of your insights and noodle-worthy sessions. If you guys want to join the live share crew, it would be an absolute joy to have you. You can sign up to the live share crew for as little as £5.55 a month and up to 11. So nice little tidy monthly fee. We meet up once a week in this kind of private space, and I've just lining up ways to do actual meetings. So like, we tried Zoom once, and then I'm going to be trying another app that one of our members has shared with us, which is a secure app, which means, and this is an app where I can record the video. So it means if people miss the meetings, they'll still be able to see all the videos and the chat sessions in the live share crew playlist, which again, when you join the live share crew, you can access the playlist and all that stuff. So feel free to check all that out, you guys. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Happy Wednesday. I will do an update on the approach coming into the solstice energies. A lot of us are already feeling it. The sleep might be a bit disrupted. Make sure you're loving yourself and taking really good care of yourself. We've got 21/12. Thank you guys so much. Cicero, nice to see you. I'm just about to sign off, so thanks guys. Thanks for your input, your donations, your presence, and mostly just thanks for choosing love. It means everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, you guys, have a great day. I'll speak to you soon. Peace out.